What up guys, Sokar here with a Minecraft special. This time I'll be showing you how I did my arrow farm in my latest LP episode, and I'll be showing you how to do it a few different ways. Like for example, we have my crusher set up here, and over there we have a gravity setup. I will show you how to build both, and I will tell you everything you need to know about making a spawner trap, basically. So anyway, let's use it and see how it works. A few of them die in the crusher. Whoa. Yeah, and if you get too close to them, they'll push you really far away. But anyway, and then you just merrily hit these guys. And for some reason it's taking a bit more time. I don't know why they don't die faster than this, but basically that's all there's to it. And I tested this out. You can get like 400 skeletons in this trap in, I don't know, 40 minutes or something like that. So it's a good experience farm too, although that wasn't the intended purpose of it when I made it. Isn't there a faster way? Come on. Okay, I don't, usually you can just, you know, kill these guys real fast, but it's probably because I'm in creative mode. Anyway, so that's basically how it works. You crush them and you kill them. And as you can see, it has an automatic shut-off switch, which stays in place until you redo that lever. This is to prevent new mobs from coming in case you don't turn it off. As you can see, if I turn this on, and I fly into the trap, there should basically be some instantly. Yeah, you can see they're already going. So anyway, that's basically it. Now let's get to how you build them. Now before we get to actually making the spawning room, I want to give you guys some facts on mob spawners, because there's been a lot of different ideas and different facts about what and how they work. So basically, let's start out with the spawn area. This is the area that needs to be cleared in order for the skeletons to spawn. For example, as you can see here, I have encased this area in glass, which is 8 by 8 by 3. And basically, if you remove any of these blocks below, for example, then a skeleton would be able to spawn below. If you remove any of those above, they'd be able to spawn above. And of course, if you remove them all, they'll be spawning in tons, but you get my meaning. But because it's 8 by 8, you can see the spawner will not be in the middle. Two of the sides will have to be one wider than the other two. And what basically decides which sides this is basically, if you look here, it's the corner that has the lowest set and X value. So as you can see here, those values would be 533.6 and 68.6. And if you go to the other corner, you can see they're both increasing to what they are here, 542 and 77.3. So that means that these sides are the ones that should be one wider. So it would be 4 away from the spawner on these sides, and on here 3 on the other side. That's the spawn area. The second thing you need to know is how far do you need to take the spawned skeletons or zombies or whatever for the spawner to keep producing their mobs. And it's quite simple, really. You have to go 4 blocks above the spawn area, as you can see, 4 blocks. And it's quite important that you remember it's above the spawn area, not above the spawner. It's 5 blocks above or below the spawner and 4 blocks away from the actual spawn area. If you want to move them away to the side, you basically need to go 9 blocks away from the spawner itself. And the reason you will count it away from the spawner here is because even if you took them out away on this side, where you can clearly see that it's one wider, it would still just be 9 blocks. So you want to count 9 blocks away from the spawner, and that's basically how far you need to take them. The last thing you need to know is where do you need to be for the spawner to actually start producing mobs, and that's basically 16 blocks. This is a circular area around the spawner, which I haven't drawn for you, but since this is where I'm planning on taking them, I will show you what you could do. Basically, if this is 9 blocks away, then you'd go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's basically that, and then I've just made a cone here, which is a guaranteed area that you can be within in order to make them spawn, which means you could basically go to your spawner inside any of inside this area, just stand there for like 10 minutes, and you would have like I don't know, 100 skeletons or something like that. Anyway, beyond that, we will be working with a spawn room that's 9 by 9, which means, as you can see, there will be some area inside here that can't actually spawn the skeletons, but it is more convenient to do it this way because of water flow and the way I built what's it called? The trap itself. Lastly, before we get started on this, I would like to say that I did not invent this. There's been tons of other people who has done similar. I don't know if there's someone who's done exactly what I've done in this build, but there's definitely a lot of ways you can do this, and it's not an original idea. I will be linking people who have given me inspiration to what I've made here in the details or in the description of this video. Anyway, let's get on with it. So basically, the first thing you do when you want to make the spawn room is as you saw on the previous model, you will make the 9 by 9 frame, and then inside that you will make a floor which is 9 by 8, and you want that to be 9 on the wide side and 8 on the side that goes towards the exit. Beyond that, you'll put in the water streams here, 1 source block in each side, which will make a central water flow in the middle, which will lead them out of the room. And that's basically all you do for this step. Let's move on to the next step. Now we get to adding the lights for the light switch, and basically what you do here is you make the wall 3 tall, and you go 1 out like here in the middle. Just if you align yourself with the spawner, you put 1 block and then a jack-o'-lantern or a glowstone, like 1 above here. So from the floor level to the jack-o'-lantern, that would be 4 blocks. And you do that in the middle all the way around, except for in the middle, where you would place 2 of them like this, so that you can take the mobs out. Once you've done that, you will simply, on top of the jack-o'-lanterns or glowstone, whatever you choose to use, you'll add two new blocks, a piston, a block beneath the piston, and a block above the piston, and you will basically do this on all 5 of the glowstone or pumpkins. Lastly, what you'll do is you will combine all the pistons with redstone, and all you have to do that is basically add in blocks between them in a what do you call that, in an X, in a cross, in a, you basically just combine them like this, and you run redstone all the way across, and that's all you need to do. And then do the walls, as you can see here. The walls are done. This is a completed spawn room with all that we've built so far in place, with the redstone on top and everything. So anyway, let's get to the holding chamber and the crushers. The first one I will be showing you is the drop weakening mechanism, but you kind of need to see some of this to be able to do the crusher, so stay with me. It's very fast, very quick. The only thing I'll do here is basically show you in relation to, as you can see, if you've added in the water streams as shown behind there, you can always go back through the video and re-watch parts if you need to. If you've done the water streams right, you know, from the 9x9 area there, so you have a source plug in there and you have a source plug in there, the water will lead out to about here, which is like 3 blocks out. Then you basically, as I told you earlier, just go 1 block with nothing and 1 more block, and that's where you want to get your spawns out to. And on the next one here, you will basically build a water tunnel. I've built it all in glass here. You don't want to do that because then you'll have light coming in, but I did it so that you can see stuff. What you'll do is on the extra blocks you added last time, you'll be placing a sign right above there, and basically there would be water there, but you'll place a sign there, and then you will build a tunnel that goes all the way up 23 blocks. As you can see, this in here is 23 blocks up. If you have a look here, you can see that the Y coordinate here is 28. If I drop down here, the Y coordinate is 5. So you bring them up 23 blocks to here, and then you basically drop them back onto the red wool piece. And that's all you need to do for now. Oh, one more thing, I almost forgot. Like halfway through the water tunnel where they go up, you need to place a sign, just one, and that's all you need to do for this step. For the last step on the gravity weakening, you will, as I said earlier, you will replace some of the tubing with mass blocks so that the light from the jack-o'-lanterns and the light from the sun won't get into the spawning area. Then you fill up all the open spaces in there, all of them, except for where there's signs. You'll place water there. And I can see I've actually missed a few spots, but to hell with it. And then up here you'll just add one more and then a sign there to prevent the water from falling down. You complete the tubing so that they can't jump out or be or jump so they can actually lose HP when they fall. You don't want that. Actually, I think I might have to redo this. Yeah. Oh crap. There we go. You only want there to be 2 spots in there where they can be so they can't jump around. That's basically what ensures that the mobs that actually come down here is killed by the 1 tap or 2. Some of them will die in the drop, but it's very, very few. And lastly, I'll show you how to make the light switch mechanism, which is basically you just stick on. I have put a gold block here. As you can see, you can build this rim all around here. It should be pretty obvious. As you can see, the red block is here. So 1 block to the right, 1 block up, you place normal block basically with a lever on it, and on the back I've used a gold block so that you can clearly see which block it is. You just add a redstone wire going all the way up here into a repeater which hits the redstone circuit here in the side, and all of the pistons will be powered. And that's how the power mechanism works. And basically when it's not powered, as you can see, no power now, or the lever's up, the light will get in there and no skeletons will spawn. And if you want them to spawn, you simply just hit the lever, powering the redstone, powering the pistons, which will block out the light, and you will have a completely dark room with very good spawn rates. Anyway, let's get to the crusher setup. Now for the crusher, I will assume that you have connected the wire here to the light switch, but as you can see I haven't actually done this time, and that's because I wanted to show you that, as you can see, the red block here represents where you have to move the skeletons to, and the reason you want to move them exactly there and not so much further away is because that will leave you with less space to stand in to have the spawner working. But if you want to make the crusher, in order to make room for the crusher, and have the room completely darkened out, you will need to move your holding area 1 block further away from the spawn room. As you can see, this would be where where the skeletons would drop down had it been a gravity weakening system, but with the crusher you have to move them 1 further away so that it's here, 1 block further out. Then beyond that, you keep your signs in here. You prepare a water tunnel or water elevator, mob evader, to go up here just to where the blocks should stop, with the pistons would be behind there. And then you move them to the side just over the crusher so that the mobs will fall 3 blocks when they go through here, and that's the new tubing. Lastly, you will add a piston to the side here. If I complete the frame here of the holding area, you can see where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be right behind this block, so that it can push that block there in here, which will keep additional skeletons from falling down. In this step we'll be making a monostable circuit, which will be what we use to activate the crusher, and at the same time it will also be activating the closer, or whatever, the one that prevents more skeletons from getting into the holding area. The first thing you'll do though is you will fill in water in this tunnel, of course, like you've done before, solid water blocks all the way up, and 1 additional that will push the mobs over here with a sign to keep the water from going down into the holding chamber. And remember, when you build this, use solid blocks instead of glass so that light won't get into the spawning room. Anyway, to the monostable circuit. As you can see, I will actually that's a bit hard so I won't, but as you can see, when I turn this on, it will basically activate the monostable circuit. What happens is it sends power to this redstone block, which in turn turns this torch off, which in turn turns this wire off, allowing this torch to go on. But, and this is what makes it a pulsar or a monostable circuit, is that while that happens, it also, when this torch turns off, it turns this torch on, permanently by the way, until you switch the lever back off, which will power on this piston, closing the holding chamber, and also setting power to this repeater, through to this redstone wire all the way down, which will again power this torch, which the result of this will be, I will show you this in case you never built one of these. What the result will be is that this torch in there will be on for a short amount of time. Look at the redstone wire over there. See? Blinked. Now what that will do is it will send a signal to a timer, which is what will keep the crusher on for a certain period of time, and we'll get to that now. So here we are at the final step. As you can see, I've prepared the holding chamber, I've done the framework, I've done the tunnel, all in the blocks I think you should use. The glass blocks here is a preference of mine. You're not forced to use that if you don't want to. But basically this is how it's supposed to look. As for the timer, as you remember, this is the monostable circuit with the pulsing torch here. What that does is it basically activates this line of redstone, which in turn goes through into these repeaters, but at the same time switches off this torch, switching off this redstone, turning on this torch, which when this blinks, this would usually go off, allowing the torch to turn back on, but because of this torch it will be kept off, because as you can see it leads power to back in here, kind of like an RS Nor Latch, you could say. But also it provides power to this line of redstone, which leads into the crusher. Now this is important, you gotta remember to use a repeater here. You might think, oh, I can just use a piece of redstone. No, you can't do that. If you do that, it will it will open and shut again real quickly though, but it will screw up the crushing sequence. So remember to use a repeater there. As for the timer itself, and this is how it resets itself, because as you can see right now, once this pulses, it turns on the crusher, and it basically doesn't turn off. The way it turns off is once the power goes through this timer, which is 10 repeaters, all set to 4, except for one which is set to 3. I'll get back to that in a second. When the power goes through all these, as soon as it hits this block, it will force off this torch again, which will allow this torch to turn back on. But then you'd say, oh, but then the crusher opens. No, it doesn't, because it will get power as long as there's power in the repeater circuit here. It will provide power through the block to this piece of redstone into the repeater again, until the power in the repeater is all gone. I'll show you this now. See? And there, the torch turns off, switching the RS Nor Latch back, and then it waits for this, and there it goes. So basically what this does is it doesn't only you know, usually with a timer you'd have to have like 24 of these, and it would take all those 24 blocks until it would actually power on. But that's just a delay. If you want it to be a timer, you have to use this, and what it does is it basically allows you to use half the amount of repeaters that you would otherwise use if you were to do this in another way. For example, turning on, let me show you a quick example. For example, if I remove this, now you would basically have cut the timer in half. See? So because you add that little extra piece of redstone right here, you'll basically get the timer to be twice as long, or said in another way, you will save half the amount of repeaters. But anyway, about this last one, remember, I'll say it again, you'll need 12 repeaters for this, all set to 4 ticks. Except for the last one. I've set it to 3 because that results in all of the ones that survive is one hit kill. It will also mean that some of them die. If you wanted to have if you just want them all to survive, and some of them being 2 hit kills, you would have to set this to 1. And if you set it to 2, you will basically get something in between the two, where a little fewer die and a little more is 1 hit, but there'll still be a few that's 2 hits. Right, and I think that's it. That's basically how you do this. I'll once again say that I did not invent this completely on my own. I mean, I definitely did make it up on my own, but a lot of people has inspired me and the way I do redstoning for a long time. And a few of those that I know that I've really taken a few ideas from, I will mention in the description. Also, I will be providing a download to this invention world, where you can basically see all the steps. You can see the completed ones showed off in the start back there, and you will get the whole thing. I will release. Actually, I think I'll just release the world. I won't do any MC edits, no MC schematics. So, but yeah, there'll be a world download, so you can take a little look at this yourself, if you have it easier doing it that way. And beyond that, thank you guys very much for watching. Remember to leave a like on this if you enjoyed it and if you found it useful. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.